Saturday. But yeah, it's been a couple days. I don't know, I've been getting things done, but I guess we're gonna talk about it. So I woke up this morning, same time, probably around 6 or 7 this morning, and honestly, I felt like I had just laid down. I wasn't necessarily tired, but it was a weird thing. Like it felt like I felt time move. Anyway, I didn't get up. I didn't get up till about 10. Just decided to lay in bed and waste time, basically. I called myself being productive. I did come up with a whole new plan for something or someone else that is on my list to work with. That was about an hour's worth of work that I did. I looked up some stuff I wanted to look up around our community and some events that I need to attend for next week. So, in the grand scheme of things, I think it was all productive, but I don't know that that's what God wanted me to do with my time this morning. So, I'm praying that my disobedience is not going to impact your blessings, because as I woke up and asked God where to go, what to do today, this and you all were just on my mind. And we already know that I can't multitask, so I'm not multitasking. However, I do have a cup of coffee. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. I just want a piece of bread. I have a piece of bread. And I am just like cleaning up my nails today. That's it. So the Father sent me to talk to y'all this morning, and I don't know what He want me to talk about. I don't really have anything that is happening. Actually, I guess I do kind of have a little bit of a story to tell. Let me blow my nose. Hold on, y'all. Yesterday, I had a conversation. I've been talking to y'all about this project that I keep saying I'm not going to tell you details on until I finalize it. I still haven't finalized it yet, so I still can't tell you details. But yesterday, I had a meeting about it, and first of all, I was so obedient. Like, God woke me up. I have had all the ideas in my head for quite some time, and then I don't know if this is nasty, so I'm just putting my nails down here as I work on them. I'm just taking off the gel polish, but I've had the ideas in my head the whole time. Let me tell y'all how my brain works. So I'm like, oh, I already know what I want to talk about. I already know how it's gonna go. I already kind of had like a outline, basically just in my head. So like I could just work on it the day before or the day of, which is never a good idea, because as I start working on things, things change. Or I realize I don't have all the information I need, or I realize I want to spend a little more time thinking about things. So God woke me up. I think I woke up around like 4 or 5, came downstairs intending to pray, and he's like, no, just start working on the thing. I'm like, God, I already know what the thing is. The meeting is later in the day. Like, I have plenty of time to work on it. But I listened, and I went ahead and I started working on it. And of course, I worked on it up until like 30 minutes before the meeting. Oh gosh. Anyway, point is, when I got on the meeting, it was so comfortable, y'all. Like, it just reminded me of the days when I used to have meetings or go through PowerPoints, and I just dreaded it. Like, I dreaded the whole process. I kept constantly overthinking it and not feeling confident in me and the information and my delivery, all of the things. And yesterday's meeting was just like, again, when you walk in your purpose, y'all, it just rolls like butter. Like, it was like, this is it. Like, there was no confusion, there was no question. I wasn't nervous. I understood. Like, I hate reading the PowerPoints. Like, there were a couple of slides that I read just because I wanted to get the right level of detail, but for the most part, I was able to walk through each and every one of those slides without having rehearsed 35,000 times, and I knew exactly what was on them because it was my words, and I had worked through so much of it. So it was a good meeting. It was a really good meeting, and we were able to start off our meeting in prayer and thanksgiving, um, for the blessings that God has bestowed upon this work. Like, it was an amazing time, and it just was a nice example. And I know that this is going to happen more frequently because I know my father is working, but it was a nice example for like what kingdom business could look like, right? Not having to feel stifled, like I have to change my language or not say certain words or make everybody else in the room feel comfortable. And not that I would ever be just brazenly like, this is what it is, and you're going to hell if you haven't, accepted Jesus into your life. Like, I'm never like that. It's never my intention, but um, things are just becoming easier the more that I am enveloping the principles that the Father has like distilled into my life. the more that I bring those principles into every single part, the same thing I always say, the more that I bring God into every part of my life, the more that I bring those principles into every single part of my life, the better things are becoming, the easier it's becoming. Um, the easier I'm becoming, the easier things are becoming for me, the better aligned I am, the better aligned are the opportunities that are coming for me. It's an amazing time. And I'm just so grateful for that. I'm so grateful to know that. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of it. And I think I'm sharing it because I want it more. I want more. And yesterday, a part of that meeting was me unveiling my vision. And I say unveiling because I almost unveiled it to me too, y'all. I didn't realize that I had it in my head. I didn't realize that I had this vision in my head. But essentially, um, I think there are a couple of things that I believe. I say I think because I haven't necessarily sat down and just thought it all through yet. But in my heart, I don't believe that we are meant to. I want to say this statement, but I don't want it to. I don't know that I mean it in this exact blanket, super simplified way. But I don't think that we are meant to just work for people. I don't think that that's what God intended. I think that each of us have, like I said, talents, gifts, skills, a purpose, a vision for our life, right? And I don't think that I necessarily, like, I think, hear me out, y'all. Bear with me because I am working and thinking at the same time, talking and thinking at the same time. I feel like, when we're children, we typically ask the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Right. And then as children, we're forced to kind of fit ourselves into an image that has already been drawn for us. And I want to flip that on its head. And I want to say, rather than saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's what are you going to be when you grow up? Or what are you meant to be when you grow up? Or what are you meant to do? Right? Basically, what is the vision for your life? And I think that everything that happens once we figure that out are just steps to get there. So maybe you do have to go work for a corporation to build out some skill set that you need, to build out some framework that you need, to see and understand the challenges of the people so you can go take that to, fulfill your vision. Like that to me is where I want to get. And I feel like it's unfortunate that we are, at least from my perspective in my work, I am working with people and I am one of those people who are figuring this out or asking myself this question at 30 plus, right? We ask kids this question when they're tiny and they're so small. We want to know, what do you want to be when you grow up? That's a typical question. That's a typical thing that our children have to think through. What do you want to be when you grow up? And some of us stay on that path. Some of us get sidetracked. We end up somewhere else. But it's now at this, like, I don't know if this is called midlife stage or whatever, this 40, 50, I guess, year old, maybe 40. I think at 50, you can't be having a midlife crisis. But let's say 40, we start to ask ourselves that same question: what do you want to be when you grow up, or what do you want to be now that you've grown up? But I think the question really is, like, what are you meant to be? That's the question that we have to answer, right? That's the question that my kids are grappling with right now. What are you meant to be? What are you meant to do? What is the vision for your life? What is the end? What look like for you? And so for me, I just recently mapped that out, and it's a world in which I wish I had it up so I could read it to you. But I read the words, and I always try to be very intentional about the words that I use. But I said something about, like, entrepreneurs are driven not by trends but by purpose. And my question to myself was, did you really mean entrepreneurs or did you just mean people, right? Because is everybody an entrepreneur? And going back to the work I did in defining entrepreneurship a few weeks ago, an entrepreneur is someone not just who builds their own business, but like has their own set of ideas, right? Their own thoughts. And I think using that example, then yes, I do believe that we are all entrepreneurs. We all have our own vision for the future. And I say ours, even though we know that it's been given to us by God, but we each have our own vision for the future. And our vision doesn't mean like I will get to explain my vision, but our vision for the future doesn't mean like that's the end all be all, but that's what we are contributing to for this larger vision, right? And so for me, it's a world in which we are basically living God values, God principles every single day in everything that we take on, whether it's building up a city, whether it's building up a person, whether it's building up a business, whether it's starting up an organization, whether it's launching a training program, whatever it is, we have these core principles that help us to ensure that everything that happens in this community is community driven, right? Every investment that's made into one person will be made triple fold into everyone else, because that venture is going to be successful, and that person is more than just about making money for its his or herself or his or her business, but also has, as not just in the back of their minds, but is integral to how they do business, this idea of I need to build up the next and build up the next, or support adjacently, right? Or up, right? Wherever that looks like, right? That's my vision. And apparently I'm here in Delaware to do that, to build out that vision, which is not something I would have thought about. But the more that I see the things that are happening in this community, the more I'm realizing, I want to say that it's aligned with my vision, but the more I'm seeing God's vision manifest. And so right now, that's what I meant to do. That's what I meant to focus on. And so, like I said, there are a couple of parts of this vision, but like the thing I want to realize is this thriving community that really um, is supported and is meant to support this larger vision. How in the world, right? Because this doesn't just involve me and a couple entrepreneurs, right? This involves the political system. This involves the churches. This involves the businesses. This involves every bit, right? How in the world am how in the world is this vision going to be realized? Is the question I almost want to ask myself, but that's not the question I'm going to ask, because we know how, we know the Father's going to make it happen. But I just laughing because I'm just like, what is God planning? Like, and I imagine this is probably what people think about when I come to them with an idea. People who are familiar with me and know that sometimes I can get a little out there with my ideas. They're probably like, what is she about to come up with? And that's what I feel right now. God, like, what is God about to do that's about to blow all of our minds to make this vision like come to life? Is the question that I have right now. And it's not even a real question. I don't expect him to answer it. I just can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to like have this moment where I look back at like this moment where I realize the vision and I'm like in it, right? And I'm just looking, there's gonna come a point where I'm gonna be like in a meeting or speaking to someone or watching something or somewhere, and I'm gonna be like, wow, you said it, God. You said it. Because I have those moments now where it's just like, wow, you said this was gonna happen and look at it. And so I can't wait. But at the same time, I just know it's gonna be something so far from anything I could ever imagine that it's funny to me. But that's it. Like, I have a vision, and it's gosh, I can't explain it enough. I know I keep saying it. I just said it, but when things start to align, when you start to see those pieces and understand the larger picture, or the picture, forget the larger picture, when you start to see the picture, it just makes things so much easier. It makes me now understand the dreams that I have and why I have them. Like a few weeks ago, I told y'all about Calm Breeze, which came to me in a dream. And I believe that it's meant to be the resort that I have a dream of building. And in thinking about this larger vision and what I want to do or what my end looks like, it makes so much sense how that aligns to that, right? It makes so much sense why I'm dreaming of that. It makes so much sense, even thinking about the location. Like, Delaware is known for its beaches. I live here in Delaware. I'm planning on building here in Delaware. So if I do a resort, it would be here in Delaware. I know I was thinking about outside the country, but like, now that I have this vision, things start to click together. And so, and it helps to ground me, right? I was very, when I got that, I was, I had told the family about it, and we started looking at, okay, well, where are we going to build this resort? And what country are we going to go to? And what this and what that? And now I'm like, wait, my vision says this place here. I ain't going to no other country. and be right here with our calm breeze. And so, yeah, it's just it's great, and I don't know what else to tell y'all besides it's great, and I wish this for you as well. And I think the encouragement, which is something I don't think I fully understand it until these moments or moments like this, is like 2 years ago now, I guess. God gave me this list, and He was like, "You need to work on this, and this is gonna happen." And I don't want to say God gave me this list because this has happened more than once, and each time it has been, I want to say the closest related word that I could say is collaborative. It's been a collaborative process each time God has set me down and said, make the plan, right? It's been, here's what I'm thinking, and then God adds his sauce on it. All right, yeah, that could fit, or maybe not. It has never been just like, not never been, but it hasn't fully been God just me just sitting here like, all right, God, tell me, and I just and again, we know that God made me, He created me, so the thoughts and the things that are coming from my mind are obviously coming from Him. But there are things that He specifically will say, like for example, there's a list of women that I am supposed to, I don't know what at this point, because when I first wrote it down, I would have said I'm supposed to help or touch or reach or something. At this point, because of how he's shown me what it really, what, how the words that I write down aren't always exactly what he means, I can't tell you what is supposed to happen between me and these women. But there's a group of women on my list that he gave me 2 years ago, and when I first wrote it down, I was like, all right, let me start working on this right now. And I thought that everything was going to happen right then and right there. And it is 2 years later that some of those things are even just starting to bud, right? Some of those little seeds are just kind of starting to open up, and I'm starting to see, oh, that's what you meant. Oh, that's why I did that. Oh, now I know what to do. Oh, I learned about that, right? And all of the things are starting to come together. Hold on, y'all. I say all that to say that it's been a collaborative process. We have been working on things together. He's been dictating to me what things I'm going to get done. But he's also taken my input in terms of how they get done, or how things connect, or where other things could potentially grow. And that's been a blessing in and of itself, to know that I am following his plan, but it's not just like, here, go, you have no say, even though I don't have any say, y'all. But I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. It's been collaborative. He listens to me, we talk about it, I ask questions, he answers them sometimes or eventually, and we move. And there's a small part of me that's just kind of like, wow, so everything's written, how's that fun? And I answer that small part of me, like everyone in my head answers that small part of me with like, we don't know how this is going to end. Like, I have a vision that makes sense in my words, but God's interpretation of that vision, or what God actually meant by the very simplified words that I had to use because they're all I had, what he actually meant by that could be so much different, or so much bigger, or have so much more impact than I could ever have imagined. And also, to the question, or to the point of like, wow, the vision's already been written, this is boring. Y'all, the vision is huge. Okay, like I have this vision, and then maybe I'll walk y'all through it. Maybe that'll be an episode. I'll do like some screenshots. But I have this vision, and then on the next slide, I have three different buckets, which is my purpose, my business, my impact, right? And my purpose is like, this is what drives me. In the words of Dr. Miles Monroe, purpose is the thing that, he has two things that he says. One is the thing that you want to do for free. It's the thing that you don't need to get paid to do. It's the thing that just drives you. Like, you just have to do it. And he also says it's the thing that you hate, or the question you can't answer, or like if there's something in your life that's just like, it bothers you so much. Like, why is this here? Like, why is this a thing? Like, why isn't this happening? Like, that is your purpose. Something like that. I am definitely oversimplifying what he said, so go find it. But yeah, he has this thing, and when I first heard it, I remember being so upset, like, oh boy, like here he comes with some nonsense. Like, why would the thing I hate be my purpose? Like, but when I tell y'all, watching or seeing someone who has, like, seeing someone's potential, seeing someone's vision, seeing someone's crown, and them not realizing it is so upsetting to me. Not only because it's wasted purpose, but it's just like, sis, you driving yourself crazy, pulling yourself up this mountain when the slide is right there. It's right there. Just gonna take you down to the ground. Like, it's just, it's very frustrating. So it makes sense that vision would be purpose for me. Makes sense, right? What is, I feel like my exposure is off. Hold on, y'all. Can I change it? So purpose, business, and then there's impact. And so in the middle category of purpose is, I'm sorry, business is the things that I am working on to support many of the different ventures and things that are on this list. So this is strictly business. And while it is strictly business and it is meant to make a profit, again, thinking back to that larger vision, right? That profit is not just meant to come to me and my family, but it is to ensure that we're able to dream and build on those other pieces. So far, I have been like, the road has been cleared for me. I have not encountered anyone who is like hates my dream or is hateful towards my belief system or is like a huge blocker in the road. And I pray that God continues to block those people from my life. But if he doesn't, like, I know how to handle that. But I haven't had that issue. And so I've been able to just kind of push through. But I know that there's going to come a time where I'm going to need funding for something or I'm going to need a resource for something. And the wording is going to say that this is meant to support the kingdom of God. And there are going to be people who want to stand against that. And I don't ever want to be beholden to a system or a person or a source or a resource that does not align with my value system. And so kingdom business has to be on the list. Kingdom business has to be a focus, not just of mine, but of every purposeful person, an entrepreneur, thought, whatever. Kingdom business has to be there because we need to be able to develop resources within our community to support our community goals. And so that's why that pillar is there. And obviously, frosting would be one of the biggest parts of the business pillar, in addition to Calm being a part of that as well. But again, I don't want to have to go to a bank for Calm and explain, like, oh, our revenue model looks like this because of this, and they're gonna look at me and say, this is not gonna be a profitable business, this is not gonna be profitable for us. And, like, you know what I mean? I can't explain God principles to everybody. I could try, but they ain't got to accept it. So I don't want to be like, oh, this God business can't happen because, the world said no. No. So we're gonna work on kingdom business because of that. And then that last pillar is impact. So in addition, everything, and I kind of struggle with impact as the word, and it may change at some point because everything that we do is going to lead to an impact, or better. But this category is distinct for me because it could be purpose, it could be business, but the goal of it is not just, like I said, to make a profit, even to support the community. The goal is to change mindsets. The goal is really transformation. That's really what I want us to call that bucket. It is really about transforming lives. Obviously, the love life is the number one thing in the impact bucket because the goal of this is to transform. The goal of this is for people to not only hopefully there's some like-minded value system here, but also to challenge, right? Also to make us think differently about the things we have accepted or not accepted in our lives. And so that's the third bucket. And so I have things in each of those buckets is my point. My point in saying all this is, like, yes, the vision is there and it's already been built and given to me, but the six things under each of those buckets, like, they ain't written. Like, they're not done. They're not completed. All right. I might have the end, but now I gotta get there. I gotta get to the end. And my skill set is almost like a gift and a curse because I'm so focused on the end and so focused on where we're gonna end up. And it's like, all right, I've dreamt so much about all of these things. I see it, right? I understand it inside and outside. But now I gotta come back to reality and I gotta start building to that end. And that's the hard part. That's the part, that's the work. And that's where I am now, where I feel like my dreaming phase is coming to an end. And now I have to do the work of getting there. It's so funny. I've built, well, my son built a GPT for me, in Chat GPT. And so I've been using them, and they learn, right? They, as you continue to use them and ask questions and change things, they learn, and it updates a little bit of its memory. And that happens throughout GPT, that Chat GPT. And so I have one that's been helping me with like my business plan. Like I basically just like talk, like I'm talking to y'all, I'll just talk into it. Like this is what I'm thinking, and this is what I want, and this is how I want to say it, and da da da. Help me articulate it in a way, or help me like organize all of these thoughts. And then yesterday I asked for feedback on something, and they were like, basically he said like, this is too pie in the sky. You got to start doing the stuff now. And I just laughed to myself because I'm like, I know that's exactly what God is saying as well. So I've had my time to dream, and now I'm awake. And now it's time to start the work. Which probably to most people those words make sense, where it's like, now it's time to start the work, now it's time to like put in the work. But for me, the dreaming part is work too, y'all, because you have to get alignment. You have to make sure that you don't travel off into, dream world, and you're just like so far off track, and you got to bring yourself back. Like I know for some people dreaming sounds amazing. It sounds like you just kick your shoes off, sit back, and just let the thoughts flow. And while that's definitely a step in the process, that's not the end all be all. And especially because you're defining a God dream. This isn't my dream. This is a God dream, which means I have to get direction from him, and I have to double check with him, and I have to make sure I'm understanding what he's saying, which means I have to be positioned to do all of that. I have to be in the right place to hear from him. I have to allow myself all of those things that are just discipline when it comes down to being born again, go into this dreaming part and getting the okay from him to finally go. All of that's work. So I don't want it to be misrepresented that dreaming is just la 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 land. It's a beautiful place to be in, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely still work. So I've just worked for quite some time, but now I'm gonna have to do what to me is extra work, because I have to now train my brain and discipline myself in a way that's not natural to me to be able to do the things. And I have to get out of my comfort zone in a lot of areas in order to do the things. For example, next week there are about three. There's a city hall meeting. There's a council meeting. There's a nonprofit that's running some of the development work downtown. They're having a meeting next. So there's like four just like political meetings that I need to be at next week, just to hear about what's happening and start to identify the key players, and just keep my ears kind of open to what's happening around the city. And so there's that. I have to now better understand who just got elected and all of these positions, what do they stand for, what is going on. Like there's so much work to be done, and these are areas that like I could figure out how to do it. I'm not worried about that part, but like I don't want to be at no political council meetings, right? Like I got now have to follow all this stuff. I've just spent the morning like reading the minutes. Just there's one I think on Monday that I have class during that meeting, so I'm gonna try to have my headphones on, or I'll just have to record it and then review it later on. But the minutes for I'm sorry, not even the minutes. They do like an agenda and then the packet, which is like all the stuff that they plan to cover. Just reading through that, oh my gosh. Now I will say they do a great job of taking notes, because like they'll give you the notes from last meeting, and it's literally like, Miss Tashima raised her hand and said she doesn't like the way the window color looks. Can we change it? And then Mr. Harris came up and said, no, we can't change the colors anymore because of this. And then, Miss Samantha said, like, it's literally that level of detail. And that's just one thing. And then everything that they're proposing has its own set of, writing about it. And it's going to be a lot of work. And that's just one like element of all. I was gonna say phase. That's just one element of all this work I now have to take on. So, yes, playtime is over. Oh, and I have to run a business. So yeah, that's that. That's where I am today. And I told y'all I had nothing to say, and it's now probably been about 30 minutes of me talking. But that's where I'm at. It's time to move. It's time to awaken. I am awake. Now it's time to start going, I guess. This week, I don't know if I told y'all this, but I woke up one of the days this week with a question. I'm being a little bit, I wrote about it on the blog, but I don't remember if I talked to y'all about it. I'm purposefully being a little bit elusive about the level of details that I'm able to incorporate here because obviously it involves someone else. Y'all know I try to be not an open book, but I do try to share as much as I can if I think it's going to be helpful. But when it involves other people, and I think more and more it's going to start involving other people, this is a public platform, and I can't just be sharing people's business. So I had a question stemming from a conversation, or at least something that I've been sensing from someone in my life. And I asked God the question, and He sent me to a scripture. And that led me to develop, y'all, like I'm going to come back to this. But let me just say, I be driving myself crazy. Like, oh, I need a content calendar. And oh, what am I supposed to talk about first, second, and third? And oh, and then I have these moments where God just be like, here, and then think like so much stuff comes out of it and it turns into a whole thing. So like that one question led me to one scripture. One scripture. I think it's maybe three verses. And then maybe I extended it to the chapter, but it led me to one piece of scripture. And I now have a whole blog series written. I did a whole 40-minute video for Instagram that I've had to cut up into little shorts. I'm also gonna post it on YouTube, so you will be blessed. I think I'm gonna post it on Monday, so you'll see it before you see this, unless you see this video first. But if you've been following along, you will have already watched the marriage series. Yeah, it's about marriage, and I knew I was gonna have to talk about marriage at some point because of my struggles with submission. But I didn't think it was gonna come out like this, and I didn't think it was gonna come out because of my one question. And so basically, God has given me a ton of content that will go out across all 3 channels next week. And I don't know if it's just me, but I am feeling like this is gonna be a big deal. Like I feel like it's not gonna be a big deal for me because I'm already posted it and moving, and I already told you I have 35,000 things to do, so I will not be paying attention to. Okay, hold on, y'all, because I am orange. All right, I took down some of the exposure, but I think I might have made it worse. Anyway, so I'm feeling like it's gonna be a big deal, y'all. Like I can't explain the feeling. It almost feels like, I don't want to say out of body experience. It almost feels like I'm experiencing someone else's thing. Like I'm helping someone else do something that's about to be a huge upstart for their life. And I'm just helping them situate it. That's how it kind of feels, but it's my life. It feels like this is going to be a big moment for whoever sees this, for the channel, for I don't know. But this feels like rollouty, if that makes sense. Like this feels almost like if I was actually strategically planning this channel and like launching the channel and getting it out into the world, right? Like you spend some time just ironing out the tweaks and getting consistent and learning all of the things, right? And then at some point, like it's like real launch time. Like there's soft launch, and then there's like, okay, this is the launch, and let's make sure that this is ready, and this is right, and this is ready, and this is right. And I feel like God is like slowly getting me there. And we didn't discuss that. Like it was always been like, don't worry about who sees this, don't worry about this, just go ahead on and do it. Be comfortable, be vulnerable. Don't worry about subscribers, don't worry about views, just go ahead and do it. And that's just what I've been focused on. And now I feel like there is some big, launch plan that has been decided and nobody told me about. Right now I start thinking about like, oh, how come all of a sudden the lovelife.com or the lovelifewalk.com has been available to me that I can just purchase it? I went through this weeks ago. Now all of a sudden it's available. Now it's available for $1. So I don't know. if I'm just imagining things. I don't know if God actually does have something up his sleeve, which is probably more like it. But I guess we will see. Well, y'all will have already seen, and I will see, and I'll come back and I'll do a video saying what I see, what I saw. But also like this idea of I was like, okay, I did record a lot of content for Instagram for this, and I was just like, this would be really cool to put up on YouTube. And I have a trip coming up soon, so I was like, oh, maybe the week that I go away, I can post this as like fun content while I'm away. So that was my plan. I was gonna post it on YouTube, but I was gonna post it later. And then it was like, no, 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 no. I'm just gonna post this in addition to the daily videos on YouTube. So I'm a little nervous, but I guess I'm excited about that. I've been working on. I've built out like a template for how I'm gonna post things just to make it a little bit more fun and not just like me posting a talking head video. So that's gonna be what I'm working on this weekend, is getting everything ready to go on Monday. My goal for Monday is literally that like everything is already set up, and like Monday I'm just spent working on whatever he wants me to work on. Like I don't want to be on Monday still posting things for the marriage series. So, and like I said, y'all, it's like these are the moments where I know I'm not supposed to be making counts and calendars and all of that, because it just comes. Like when God is ready for something to get out, it gets out. Sorry, I hope y'all have been able to hear me. This microphone keeps getting everywhere. But yeah, when he's ready for it to come, it comes. And the only work I need to do is make sure I am properly positioned to receive it. So that's that. But let's see. Anything else I got for y'all? This has been a random video. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say. I'm gonna go, and I'll be back if I need to come back. But I'm gonna get to work. See y'all later.